Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Saturday, December 29th, 2018. My name is Rich, and joining me once again is Bijan. How you make it out?
I'm good, bro. How's it going? Man, I gotta say, this is my first, full day off in, really, a month, bro. With nothing planned. And I've been out all day long running errands. What am I doing with my life? And I did, 2.5 hours at the gym. I'm just, it's nighttime, and I'm just why? Man, I could have just been at home playing Super Smash Brothers or something. I do this to myself.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what your problem is. I've been chilling in this chair all day. I've been, playing video games, watching YouTube, really just taking it pretty easy. Wife's been off to work. She took the garbage out this morning. It's been pretty relaxing overall.
Must be nice. One day I will get there.
But yeah, we actually have a special guest with this week, very last minute guest. So I apologize. I'm not going to have a great intro, but we do have, one of the OG ninjas. We have the wonderful National Ninja League founder, Chris Wilczewski, with us. How you doing, Chris?
What's up, guys? I'm doing good. I'm excited to be on. And I also am excited to hear that you guys play Super Smash Brothers. I'm going to have to grab your friend code after the podcast.
Heck yeah, bro.
Yeah, we're actually covering National Ninja League this week, which we had already planned to do, and we reached out to Chris. He kindly offered to join us. So we're going to get the inside scoop. We're going to find out what has been going on with the National Ninja League while we've been not avoiding it, but we've been busy. ANW Junior's been taking up all our time, hogging all of our attention, and it's on hiatus, so we're back to the NNL.
Yeah, and honestly, it's awesome to see. I've been watching ANW Junior myself and watching a lot of the NNL kids compete, and it's been really cool to watch them compete on, the Ninja versus Ninja kind of format and racing, and just watching what the kids are capable of. It's been really exciting.
Dude, it's amazing. And as a gym owner yourself, I'm sure you can speak to this far more than anybody else. A big component to the regional circuit scene are, people that aren't adults, like children training at these ninja gyms, right?
Well, yeah, when we first started the league, it was almost all adults. I mean, season 1, we only ran it with adults. And right now, the youth portion of the NNL actually overtook the adult portion. So now we have more youth competitors than we do adult competitors. And to me, that's very exciting. It, shows that we're a healthy sport.
It's awesome. And in particular, a growing sport, the next generation, whatever you want to say about the current generation or the OGs, the next generation. Could you just imagine, Chris, what they're going to be like when they reach their full peak and potential?
Oh, it's scary. I have a kid in my gym who just did, I don't know if you've seen the hooks that Drew has at Real Life Ninja, the hooks from DGS, but he actually did the salmon ladder utilizing only the hooks. And it was unbelievable. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to compete with these kids.
That's insane. How do you even do that, man? The forearm grip strength these kids have, next level.
It was unreal. He actually kind of swung off of the hooks and then kind of used the hook to move the bar around, completely bizarre. He posted it on Instagram. I think his Instagram's Ninja Joe or something. But definitely one of the most unbelievable things I've seen from any ninja athlete.
If I can find it, I'll post the link in the show notes so everybody can check it out. I'm really interested to see what that looks like. Yeah, we've seen these kids just absolutely destroy it on ANW Junior. We honestly didn't have, to be completely honest, that high of hopes for ANW Junior. It was it'll be cute, but I don't know if we're going to do the whole season. But they've blown us away. They are high quality athletes just doing amazing things, doing things that adults can't do. They have such a crazy strength to weight ratio that they can just do things that would dislocate a lot of adults' shoulders.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Their strength to weight ratio is off the charts. But most impressive, at least to me, I was watching a few of the athletes, in particular Drew's athletes. They're so efficient. It's the skill is honed. And you could see it's an elite level athlete skill where every movement was accounted for. And it was just unbelievable watching these kids go through.
Yeah, very smart and very precise when they did it. They took, I guess, they took risks and everything, but they were calculated risks. Like they would skip over obstacles, but like every time you saw it, it wasn't like, bizarre or they weren't acting erratically. Like they actually knew what they were doing while taking these risks and these skips.
Exactly. And I think that comes from, a lot of the adult ninjas either do it recreationally or they started late in the game because ninja wasn't really a thing. They all had different backgrounds, gymnastics background, parkour backgrounds, climbing backgrounds that all helped. But these kids, they're full-time ninjas. They're competing in the NNL circuit year round. And they're competing in comp after comp after comp. So they're honing these skills. So you see like a different level of precision from these athletes than you do from the adults.
Speaking of the NNL circuit, I think we have to bring up a change you guys made this season that I think was pretty genius. In the past, right, we talk about, long ago, Ninja was a one-time-a-year competition. And maybe there'd be somebody with a backyard course here or there. But there wasn't a whole lot of places you could do it. And then the NNL comes along, and then they have competitions. But it's hard to travel from one side of the coast to the other. Some people were able to do it more than others. And it really kind of spread everything out so much and was prohibitively expensive for people to kind of get around. Can you explain the regional setup that you have now? Because I think it's a really good change.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate you recognizing and appreciating the change. A lot of thought went into that. But essentially, what we realized was we looked at the New England region and saw that there are a bunch of gyms clustered pretty close together. And one would think that this would make it competitive because then like you have all these gyms competing for athletes against each other. But actually what happened was the exact opposite. New England is our strongest region, but it's also the most densely populated in terms of gyms. And what happens is all of these gyms produce athlete pools that then go around to each other's gyms and then create this awesome network of people competing and growing the sport. So we wanted every region to be able to experience this. So what we did was we came up with this regional format that allowed each region to kind of host comps independently, where before, essentially you can only have one comp per weekend across the entire nation. Now, instead, you can only have one comp per region. So this allowed multiple events to be happening on the same weekend. But most importantly, in those Midwest regions, the Southwest regions, it allowed for a ton of competitions to happen. And what you saw is more athletes getting involved in the sport, more athletes competing regularly and getting to experience kind of what New England was already experiencing, but now, in different parts of the country.
So do you have plans for, 2019 is coming upon us, Chris, are there any like amazing plans or ideas that you have for evolving NNL into the new year?
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of things that we are really excited about, but I don't want to tease them too soon. I don't want to Sean Murray it and then just have everybody overexcited for things that don't actually happen.
Yeah. Don't do it too early, man.
Exactly. But we do have a lot of really exciting things coming down the pipeline that I think are really going to revolutionize the sport of ninja. I can kind of hint at it. So some of the direction that the NNL board has been taking is working on standardizing kind of ninja rules and formatting as to make it more consistent with a sport. Because right now there's so many different formats for ninja out there. You can see the, I guess what you would call like the standard show format where it's like you run a course as far as you can and when you fall, you're done. You have point systems that have been implemented by various leagues. You have the race formats. You have skill competitions that happen. And one of the things that we've been trying to do is kind of standardize different aspects of that. So one thing that the NNL focuses strongly on is creating a better experience for athletes on the course when they're competing. So we've created sets of standard obstacle rules and ways that the obstacles can be laid out in a simplistic format that allows it to be easily implemented and ruled consistently across comps. Which I guess with no background, it's kind of hard to kind of get a picture for what I'm saying. But picture the show. When you're on the show, it's very clearly laid out. You have your start platform, and then you have your finish platform that you have to get to. And for the show perspective, when you're watching it, like it's like you got to use these obstacles and get to that point. When you're competing in a gym, it wasn't always that straightforward for the athletes. Sometimes gyms would do once they caught a bar, you would hear a referee yell clear, or you would have to touch a certain point and then you'd wait for a clear sign, or you'd have to move an obstacle to a certain point. So we've kind of tried to standardize that by creating rules that kind of say you need to have a start platform and a finish platform, and then kind of dictate how they get there to kind of help standardize it. And we think that's going to go a long way in progressing the sport further in terms of mainstream adaptation, and in terms of where we can take it with that standardization.
Mm-hmm. It'll definitely avoid all the confusion that happens, especially I have to imagine for a lot of the ninjas that travel to different competitions, and every single time they do a different circuit, it's a completely different set of rules, right?
Right. And you see this all the time. Actually, Najee Richardson, who's a great friend of mine and a training partner of mine, was complaining because a lot of times he would go to a comp and be Naj. He would lâcher an obstacle and they'd be like, oh, you can't do that. And Naj was just too strong for the obstacles that were laid out in front of him. And it was talking to him and talking to other athletes that we kind of decided upon this rule. And in the past, you would actually you hear it a lot, like do the obstacle as intended. And to us, that didn't make sense, especially from the athlete's perspective. What we came up with is more design the obstacle as intended. And what we've seen is a creation of better obstacles that are more geared towards, the athlete's skill set. And it's way cooler to watch the athletes now.
Oh, by far. Like, I know, Rich, like, this is, like, your biggest pet peeve, right? Like, I know all these shows, when it's, like, when there's, like, rules to each obstacle, you're just, like, lose your mind, right?
Well, that's the thing. So, the obstacles, I completely agree. Design the obstacle the way you want it. Don't expect the ninjas to accommodate you. Because, I mean, you can have, obviously, don't grab, like, the supporting structures and things like that. That's different.
Right. What we do is we define it as in play or out of play. So, there's in play parts and out of play parts. Trust would be out of play.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The most iconic moments, as a viewer, as a ninja, I'm sure it's frustrating, but as a viewer, the most impressive, iconic moments of the show are when people do something you don't expect, right? When someone runs the course barefoot, you don't expect that. That's what gets your attention. When someone does the Cannonball Alley upside down, that's what you want to see.
And you want to see more of those moments, and you want to let the ninjas be ninjas.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even there was one in the NNL. Didn't Drew last season, the season before, in the finals, do some crazy skip over an obstacle that was tripping everyone up?
Drew's always doing crazy skips over stuff, so I'm sure he did.
But it's the creativity is what's key to, American Ninja Warrior, or just the sport in general. If everybody's doing the same thing over and over again, honestly, it gets stale. For viewers at home or however it is. But it's the creativity, seeing these almost impossible challenges, having the ninjas standing on the sidelines, figuring out like it's a puzzle how to do it, and everybody doing different methods to get through it. That's the key. So putting away a lot of those barriers and having one structured, set being like, these are the no's, these are these are the things that you can do and these are the things you can't, and everything else just figure out and do it your own way. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we're really excited for, and we're hoping that setting this type of standardization to create the consistency across comps helps us take Ninja to that next level.
That's awesome, man.
I was just wondering, I have a quick question, I guess. Internationally, Ninja is a huge thing. And if I remember correctly, I think it was when you're talking to Perry Osterley on your podcast. It sounds like maybe you guys are expanding abroad. Is there any plans to do that?
Yeah, so right now we have a few comps overseas that kind of feed into the NNL World Championship. So we had the Australia competition in Perth. That just happened, and we sent qualifiers from there over to our World Championship. We have a competition in Barbados, the Barbados Throwdown. We work with Dion Trigg in the UK, and he's going to host essentially like a European Ninja League. But he's kind of getting his gym set up now. So he kind of had to sit out this season, but in the past he's brought competitors in. But yeah, we're just continuing to try to expand and get more people connected overseas. And we're trying to implement that standardization across countries. So it's not just one country, having this rule set. It's multiple countries all following the same format.
And those decisions, I guess you mentioned the NNL board. Can you kind of give us an idea of what that is?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny because a lot of people, when they think NNL, maybe I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a handful that think like I am the NNL. And they'll address me personally, be like, Chris Wilczewski, did you know that the NNL is doing this and that? And I'm like, it's not me. Just clarification. I am the acting NNL president, so I enforce the things. But what happens is we have a board of directors that have a meeting where we get together and we discuss all the problems that we've seen throughout the season. We discuss where we want to go. And the board votes on the rules that we implement, the things that we do for the season. All of it gets implemented through a board, which consists of I'm going to misquote, but I think it's like 13 or so of the essentially founding gym owners. So these guys and girls were the 13 original gyms that founded the first season of the NNL. They each are owners of that, or they're being represented by somebody else on the board. Yeah. So that's kind of a little insight into the NNL structure.
Very cool. Very cool. And so you guys are adding new gyms all the time, I assume. Is it getting out of hand? Is it growing faster than you expected or slower than you expected?
So yes and no. It's definitely growing fast, which is very exciting for the sport of ninja. We're seeing a lot of new gyms, a lot of really cool gyms pop up around the nation. But at the same time, it's still not at the level of mainstream sports. And we'd really like to see that happen. We'd really like to see mainstream implementation of it, where we have hundreds of thousands of competitors throughout the NNL.
Interesting. So when you say mainstream, how mainstream are you talking about? Are you looking for even future goals, televised stuff, or how big do you want this to be?
Well, now you're starting to get into stuff that I can't talk about.
You're like, no worries.
It's pie in the sky. Are we talking UFC numbers? Is that where we're looking?
We're looking to continue to expand, and we would love to see numbers that rival other mainstream sports, whether it's UFC, gymnastics, soccer, baseball. We'd love to get numbers up around there.
That's super exciting. I don't know what the plans are, but just knowing that there is somebody that really is looking towards the future and expanding the sport beyond what it even is, if you really think about it, this is probably one of the fastest growing sports in America right now. MMA is big, and I'm not trying to compare one and one, but you know what I mean? There are exciting sports that are very generational heavy. And what I mean by that is American Ninja Warrior, very young focus, but also adults, millennials, quote unquote, and maybe Generation Z. Very predominant in those generations. And the older we get, the more power people in this age group gets, the more the demand is for the growth of this sport and the expansion of it. And with the technological advancements in our time, streaming, internet being a bigger part, worldwide connectivity, representation in terms of cultures that usually don't have the same type of representation, in terms of just athletics. There's many ways we can go with this, and it's exciting just to see that the sport in general is growing that way, whether it's NNL, any other type of organization, or the show itself. This is the cool stuff that I just am looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. The live streaming capabilities, the global economy, all of that kind of plays a part in what we're capable of doing just because of where we're at technologically.
And honestly, Rich, like you know this better than anybody else. Like I know some Ninja Warrior people are a little poo-pooing on Ultimate Beastmaster. I think it's dope and everything, but one thing you like we all have to agree on is the level of talent that we see on Ultimate Beastmaster from an international stage is amazing. And the fact is that a lot of these competitors that we see represented from all these different nations, it's the first time we're seeing them. I shouldn't say some people know them and everything like that. Some of them are well known worldwide. But for a lot of these competitors, there's so much talent throughout the world in regions that we just don't know in America. And if we can get like the sport of American Ninja Warrior in general, right, in a lot of these regions, we can see a big growth in areas. I mean, Chris, you were talking about Australia, and I know like Europe is another big component, but think about like Latin America and how big of a scene rock climbing is and parkour is in Latin America or any other regions throughout the world. Like there is so much room for growth.
Yeah, I feel like the potential is limitless. There's so much potential, and like you said, with the technological advances, being able to connect with all of these people and work together on a unified front. I've been working with the people in Australia, the guy in Barbados, the guys in the UK, and we've all been able to do that from the safety of our homes, and having that connection and being able to get everybody on the same page is just really incredible. And the possibility of things that we can do is going to be amazing.
I mean, even simple things like we watch these NNL videos on your YouTube channel. We see all these different gyms implement obstacles that maybe a gym can take an idea from another one. It's just shared worldwide, and these ninjas in these gyms they'll build them. If they see it on the show, if they see it at another gym, they'll figure out a way to build it, and they'll do it. It's really amazing the way the community works together to, it's the ninjas versus the course, and the course is always expanding and getting harder, and the ninjas have to improve with it.
Yeah, I definitely love that aspect of it. I try to take as much time as I can to watch each of the comps, whether it's watching the live streams on our Facebook or watching the videos that we upload to YouTube, just because I want to see what new obstacles are coming down the pipeline, what people are thinking of, what the athletes are doing. I want to know all of that fun stuff.
Dude, some of these obstacles in these these gyms are straight up crazy. Like some of them, I am like, how is that humanly possible?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to bring up a specific one and get your opinions on it. I don't know if you've both seen it yet. I hope so. At the Obstacle Ninja Academy in Orlando, Florida, a recent video, they had a salmon ladder, but the rungs were offset. So you had to basically, like, one side had to go up higher than the other. Basically how we see people mess up on the show sometimes, missing a rung. It's like intentionally built that way. It was such an interesting idea to take what's normally seen as a fault or a mistake on the course and make that part of the obstacle.
And super simple. Like it's not something where you really have to like change it up so much. It's a simple change, but it makes the obstacle completely different. I thought it was brilliant, dude.
I really like seeing stuff like that because it is, like you said, a very simple change, but it changes it a lot. Like the technique is completely different. If you were to just try to jump it, it might be a little bit more tricky than if you tried to wait one side and kind of walk it. But it's definitely one of those simple game changers.
So, Chris, the championships are coming up in February. Can you give us a little details on where it's at, what people should know about it if they want to attend?
Yeah, of course. The championships are going to be held at the Excel Center in Hartford, Connecticut. I've been a whole bunch. It's a really cool venue. It's actually like an ice hockey arena regularly, I think. But we're renting the convention center that's attached to it. So it's downstairs. It's a huge space. And what it's going to allow us to do is to get 6 separate courses for each of the age groups lined up all at the same time. And all of this is being sponsored by DGS. It's a Deary Gymnastics Supply. And they have like a line of ninja equipment. You've probably seen it in Drew Dressel's gym. You see stuff like the hooks that he has. They have steps. They have like this warp wall, pegs. They've got a whole bunch of really cool stuff. But the two things that I'm excited most about. One is their sense of humor. I don't know if you guys have been following them on Instagram, but they've been posting hilarious teasers for the course. The most recent one had a snake pit and a shark tank, which just really cracked me up when I saw that. So it's definitely worth a follow, just for the laughs. And two is the level of professionalism that these guys are bringing. Like, yes, they're funny, but they take their job very seriously. And some of the obstacles that they've created. Let me back up a second. Drew Dreschel's been working directly with them to create these courses for the World Championships, and he's had a hand in creating every single one of the courses. And Drew's creativity, combined with their ability to manufacture and create, is something that is a work of art. Drew has created some unbelievable, unique obstacles that DGS has been able to manufacture and produce for this World Championship, and I think it's going to blow a ton of people away. Just the clean-cut professional look of these obstacles, and the creativity and the difficulty, all of it coming together, and I'm beyond excited for the World Championship. I think it's going to be a knockout of the park.
That's exciting. In particular, as you said, the creativity involved with these obstacles.
Yeah, Drew has an unbelievably creative mind, and I was completely blown away. Even going into it, knowing how creative Drew can be, going into it and seeing what he's actually done and worked with DGS on, it just got me so amped up. And while I was there, I was like, oh my God, like I want everybody else to know and see like what this event's going to be. Obviously, we can't tease any of the obstacles. But I was just so excited. Like I wanted everyone to know right away, because it's like it's just going to be such an unbelievable event.
Does it bother you at all that you can't compete? I assume you can't anyway, as the president.
Yeah,
be able to compete in the league, or?
I mean, it's a tough question, because I absolutely love what I'm able to do for the sport in my position. I'm able to grow it. I'm able to create an environment for kids and adults that I didn't have growing up, that I really wish that I did. And in that sense, I'm very, very content with my job, because I'm able to do that. I'm able to, make a difference for the future. That being said, the athlete in me every now and then wants to wonder how I would do if I ever competed in the NNL. So
Right.
I always think about it.
Well, I mean, you've got to at least test the course, right?
Typically last season I wasn't able to test, and I was a little upset about it. I actually had a torn lat.
Ugh.
It was brutal. I didn't think I was going to be able to actually compete in Philadelphia when I did, because a torn lat can take anywhere from 4 to 8 months to recover, and Philadelphia was like exactly 4 months from when I tore it. So I'm like, please stay intact.
Yeah. Not to mention, that's a very painful injury.
Yeah, no, definitely not something I would recommend for anybody. But no, I did not get to test the course last season. And this season, I'm still recovering from a bicep tear. I'm hoping that I will be healthy in time, but it's really been dragging out for me. But if I can get healthy in time, you can guarantee I'll be testing that course.
That's awesome. So, do we have a time frame yet? I'm sure you don't have specifics, but is there a time frame that we can look forward to seeing the finals?
Like in terms of like the live stream times?
Dates or whatever, man. Let the people know.
Oh yeah. We got the dates already. Yeah. So
Okay.
the World Championship is locked in for President's Day weekend. So it's that, like Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We haven't released the exact schedule, so like when stage 1, 2, and 3 stuff will be. But it will take place over that President's Day weekend.
That is awesome. And just everybody at home, remember, amazing creative obstacles designed by Drew Dreschel, the top tier talent throughout the world that have been competing in all the regional and all the regions. And as you said, Chris, 6 different courses for all the different, I guess, is it by age group? I'm guessing, or is it by region?
Yeah. So it's by age group. So you'll have like the kids, then the the teens and the adults, and all the different age groups in between. But yeah, like you said, like I'm super amped for it. We'll be live streaming all of it. It's gonna be a great time.
That's awesome.
So live streaming, if people want to follow that, if they want to see it, if they're not able to make it to the area, they should follow National Ninja League on Facebook. Is that the way to do it?
Yeah, definitely follow National Ninja League on Facebook. It's a possibility it might get thrown onto our YouTube channel as well. So you're going to want to go over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button for National Ninja League there. But I guarantee you we'll post it to our Facebook. So definitely go give us a like there or a follow.
So Chris, that's how everybody can follow National Ninja League. How can they follow you, or where else can they reach out to you on social media?
Well, it's going to require them to spell my last name. All my social media tags are Chris Wilczewski. So I'll go really slow. It's Chris, Chris, and then Wilczewski is Wilczewski. I really need like a cool ninja nickname or something so I can stop using my last name. That's probably why I have like no followers.
Bro, you do? Because I'm trying to spell it in my head, and I've already mixed up. I have a B in there for some reason. I don't even know how.
Maybe forgot.
Maybe. I was like, what's going on? My brain just stopped.
I've got it down at this point. I originally kept screwing it up, but I've got it down. I've written it down so many times for so many show notes over the time between you and Brian. I can nail it every time.
Nice. So either we need everybody else to get that level of efficiency, or I need to come up with some type of nickname so that I can update my social media handles and maybe get more than a few followers.
Chris TZIK, right? I think I'm
pretty close.
Got you.
Pretty close.
Nailed it.
All right, so that is it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us, Chris. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is BIJAN 151.
Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful week.
Peace and love, y'all. Huge shout out to Chris Wilczewski. You're awesome. I loved your story last season. Always been a fan. Dude, NNL is amazing. Everybody check it out on President's Day weekend. It is going to be an awesome time. I will be live tweeting it and being, cheering along with all of you fans at home. All of the talent throughout the world at this NNL event. It's going to be amazing. Dopeness all around. And NNL, keep being awesome, bro. Looking so forward to seeing what you guys have in 2019.
Thank you, man. That was amazing. I need to hire you as a hype man. That was great.
I got you, bro.